Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Second Opinion Podcast, episode number 377. It's crazy. 377. We should be at like 1,000. It's ridiculous. But before we get started, we are going to watch, forcibly make you watch my Monster Hunter Wilds review. I had the amazing opportunity of playing Monster Hunter Wilds very early. I've been playing it for quite some time, and I have to say, I love this game. So we're going to go ahead and play the review, and once the review is over, then we're going to get right into this episode of the Second Opinion Podcast. I love you guys. I hope you enjoy. Hey, what's up, guys? It is Soleb back again for another review. This time around, we're here to review Monster Hunter Wilds, the highly anticipated next evolution of the award-winning Monster Hunter franchise. So speaking from someone that has not been a Monster Hunter fan, I've never really played a lot of Monster Hunter games. There's been a few times I've kind of delved in. I played Monster Hunter Rise with some friends here and there, but I've never really gotten too far into the Monster Hunter series. I've always been more of a Dragon's Dogma kind of guy. I love Dragon's Dogma 1, and of course played a ton of Dragon's Dogma 2. So when I saw this originally at Summer Games Fest, I was very excited because the gameplay seemed like it had been kind of changed over time from the original Monster Hunter into a more well-rounded game that anyone could pick up and play. And I could tell you guys right now, even if you don't have a history with Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter Wilds is a great game for anyone and everyone out that loves action RPGs. So as I said, I don't really have a big history with Monster Hunter Wilds, but I can tell you guys this. I have played Monster Hunter games before in the past, and I somewhat enjoyed my experience. So I went into this thinking, okay, this is a new game. There's no games before this. This is a new experience for me to take on as somebody that's never played really big in Monster Hunter games, and I really enjoyed my experience with this game. In total, I think I've played about 40 hours worth of the game so far, and I've really gotten into this game, and I can't wait until it launches in just a few more days so I can play this game with some of my friends on the co-op multiplayer experience. With the story transports players into the Forbidden Lands, a mysterious wilderness that can transform in unexpected ways. This living world is teeming with rugged wildlife adapted to ever-changing climate, including massive monsters that players will take on in action-packed encounters. So with this story, there was quirky aspects of the story, and with your Palico and your guild that you get to play along with, there's many times that there's real serious moments, and of course, really funny moments as well. This is the first Monster Hunter in this series that's been fully voiced in the story as well, and it is a really cool experience. And I guess it's really kind of the best way that I can say that I'm glad that I started with Monster Hunter Wilds, that I really delved into this game first, because it's one of my big pet peeves about games is when the graphical presentation and the gameplay has been really timed into this, great experience, but we don't get any voice acting. It doesn't, to me, I want a game that can just really pull me into this world, and having voice acting just makes the world just feel a lot more alive to me. But one thing that also made me feel a lot more, made this game feel a lot more alive, is the Forbidden Lands, because the Forbidden Lands showcase multiple biomes where the ecosystem changes on a constant basis. With each area that you go to, you're also introduced to a dynamic weather system that can not only affect you, but affect the monsters that you're battling. As I progressed through the game, not only would I strategize my actions depending on the monsters I was hunting, but I would also use the weather and the environment as an additional weapon to help take on some of these crazy monsters I was battling against. And of course, while I'm noticing all this craziness that's going around me with this dynamic weather system and the ecosystems that we're being a part of, facing off against these monsters, that's whenever I really kind of jumped into the gameplay aspects of it and realized how great the weapons and the mechanic system is. You have the focus mode that helps you use focus strikes, and this focus mode actually highlights certain areas of the monsters that have become weak from your attacks. So you can use the focus strikes to attack these certain areas. So after using, for instance, in the dual weapons, I had a demon mode that I could activate. And whenever I activated this demon mode, I did more damage. I was able to really do a lot of damage to certain weak points like their legs or wings or whatever it is I'm facing off against. And then use this focus strike to where I can deal heavy damage, which not only significantly damaged the monsters, but also stunned the monsters. And so what was really cool about this is I didn't know this was part of the game. I didn't know that this was a big focus point. I thought this is something that's always been in Monster Hunter, but it seems like this has really been pushed into more of an intense aspect that makes these battles seem like such a large scale kind of cinematic aspect of hey, you're a hunter that's facing off against this giant monster, and you have really cool ways of taking down these monsters. So there was a lot of times that during these modes I was playing in full-on solo, and I was not playing online. So I would use certain aspects, especially whenever I got to the point of feeling like I needed some help. Using the SOS flare during your quest was such a fantastic thing. In the online lobbies, of course, you can get some of online characters, but in the regular mode, when you use the SOS flare, you actually have temporary aid of like AI players and support hunters that are able to come to you and help you in this mode. And it made the action just so much more kind of streamlined. It seemed like even though I was playing in a offline, quote unquote offline setting, I felt like there were, the world really was alive. And like if I asked for help, the system was set up to where I can easily call for help with these SOS flares. But it was a really fascinating experience, because as I'm playing this, I'm realizing that not only is the world and these monsters and the weaponry just a telltale sign of how Capcom has really expanded a lot of their games into just breathtaking worlds, it was also just the environment and the graphical presentation of this game that really pulled me in. During these moments, I did what I always do as well and decided to explore the areas, not just for the hunting aspect or additional assets, but to look at the sprawling world that Capcom has built in-game. As a gamer that just loves to get lost into these worlds, I can tell you that with Monster Hunter Wilds, this is one of the most visually stunning open world games that Capcom has devised in quite some time. No matter where I went or what monster I was trying to track down and hunt or quest I was doing, I was honestly just shocked how great this game looked. There's such a focus on games now being in full-on 4K, 60 frames per second, and I can't say that's the experience that I had on my PlayStation 5, but what I can say is that even though it wasn't always a 4K experience or always right at 60 frames per second, the world that Capcom has built in this game really pulls you in. The small details, the sprawling aspects and types of monsters that are just out and about traveling through the world, the smaller monsters, the quests, little side quests, the voiced over characters that really kind of pull you in and make this story something that you care about. It was just such a great experience from start to finish. The music, the graphics, the gameplay is honestly just a really stellar experience. Now, I can say there were a good couple of times that I'm facing off against like in-game monsters and some other aspects of the game that either it was almost, at times it was almost, sometimes it was too difficult, and then sometimes it was too easy. So it did kind of frustrate me at times, because I would face off against one monster and it'd be somewhat of an easy experience, and then the next monster, even though of course it is a larger scale monster or something that I haven't faced off against before, I'm using the same exact tactics that I would use in the previous battle, while also trying to change my tactics depending on where I'm at and what what damage is best to use against some of these monsters. And there were times that I went down a good couple of times, so I would have to, instead of being able to single-handedly take on these characters, I would have to use SOS flares and get support characters in there. But there was also a few times that my SOS characters, or the support characters, support hunters, there were 2 times while playing the game that my support hunters actually ended up killing the monster before I even got a chance. I would end up dying and being respawned back at my camp, and then, or my pop-up camp, and then running back to the area and going to face off the monster that I was just taking on that already had previous damage. And then 2 times actually I had a NPC support hunter that ended up killing the monster before I killed the monster. So, and to me that almost made it feel like at times that maybe the scaling or maybe the difficulty was not set as high as it should have been set for certain monsters. Because if an NPC support hunter can just come in and just, hey, I'm gonna whack-a-mole this dude until he dies, then to me that it kind of did take me out at times. But what is great about the game is, of course, the upgrading system that you can do as you face off against these Dogma and many of these other monsters. You're able to use their wool and their skin and stuff to upgrade your character, upgrade your armor, your weapons, and there's a ton of different weapons. A lot of these weapons were previously used in the previous Monster Hunter games, but with this there's a lot of new additions, of course, with the new training area, the ability of being able to sharpen your weapon as you're on the go, and of course the environmental changes as well. And it really just makes this a dynamic experience from start to finish. Now, as I said, guys, this is not going to be a review that really spoils a lot. If you are a big Monster Hunter fan, I'm sorry if this is not the review for you, but I'm going to easily say it and put it in the most simplest terms. Having the dynamic aspects of this map continuously changing, having no loading screens, being able to go from one area to another, and it literally changes the environment with just certain paths that you go from a desert area to more swampy area to a more volcanic area. It actually feels like a really unique world as you're going. Having your guild with you as well and being able to easily upgrade your weapons and armor as you're on the go was actually something that I didn't expect to be such a utilization on my part. And I'm telling you, it comes in handy so much. But of course, some of the biggest guild members that you cannot forget about are your Sacred and your Palico. Your Palico comes in clutch so many times in these battles to where you're low health and your Palico flies in with health, or flies in with certain little attacks, or even puts out these little vocal punches of like, come on, you ugly piece of crap. It kind of gets you pumped up. But of course, your Sacred as well. As playing this game, there's so many times that I was switching back and forth with the weapons of my duelist weapons or my gun, and being able to utilize these weapons while on the back of my Sacred, while also utilizing these jump attacks from my Sacred to the monsters. It was just a unique gameplay style and gameplay mechanic that really came in handy so many times in the game, and I didn't even realize that was going to be such a heavy focal point. But it really helps having such a great gameplay mechanic that is supportive to the player and supportive to the environment and the gameplay style. So I'm going to tell you guys this right out, plain and simple. This is a home run. Plain and simple. One of the best, I would say one of the best open world action RPGs that is on the market today. It feels so good from start to finish. And yes, there's moments, of course, in the story you're like, oh my God, it's so corny. Oh my God, these little comic bits. But that's what makes it great. It's such a serious world at so many times when you're changing environments constantly and facing off against these massive monsters and smaller monsters and medium monsters and unique battles and side quests and main quest lines. And it's such a unique experience that everyone can just jump in and enjoy. It feels like the return of such a classic style of gaming to where I was able to jump into this world and just heavily get engrossed into the story, the gameplay, the graphics. Everything about Monster Hunter Wild just screams an E for everyone game. And I mean that in the perspective that no matter your style of play, no matter what games you've played previously, it would not shock me if you've never even played this style of game or style of action RPG, and you jump in and just have one hell of a time from start to finish. So as I said, guys, such a great experience. One of the better Capcom titles to come out in recent years. And there's so much more to come with this game, with new monsters coming, new updates coming to the game, and of course, when the game launches on the 28th, being able to play this with friends. That's one of the biggest things about this game that I think is going to be such a major selling point for this title. So with that said, we are going to give this a 5 out of 5. Big shout out to Capcom for making such a fantastic game and bringing this experience to everyone, rounding the game out to where they're like, let's get it to where everybody can play this game, but veterans of the series will also appreciate these upgraded aspects. Thank you so much for everything you guys do, and thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to check back soon for another review and some great gameplay content coming soon. We'll talk to you later. Peace out. That was long-winded. Jesus. Shut up, Caleb. My God. Welcome to the Second Opinion Podcast. It is your host, Soleb, and I'm joined by my partners in crime, the one and only Bolts. Hello, Bolts. How are you?
What's up, fam?
Yeah.
My bald-headed and bearded gentlemen. How are we this evening?
Fantastic, fantastic. And also joined by the man, the myth, the wizard, Toaster McGee. Hello, Toaster.
Hello.
I've missed you guys so much. I've missed just talking in general. It has been a few months since we have had an episode. I have been down and out, man. I've been sick.
You should tell everybody took a vow of silence.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a vow.
Just like the gaming.
You can't talk with your mouth full, by the way.
I can't. Ever. Yeah, no, right. And it sucks because
until BioWare apologizes for Anthem, I will never speak again.
That's right. It does suck. It sucks because it's doing videos and reviews and all that. We've moved to such a cut and dry kind of way of the way I do videos and reviews, of doing the gameplay corners, doing the podcast live, and of course doing our review videos. And it's really sucked to not be able to do content, but we're back, and I am so glad to have my bros with me today. In this episode today, we're going to be talking about Warner Brother Studios shuttering, the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remake that has pretty much been officially revealed by Activision, but also leaked at the same time, and gaming possibly moving to an all-digital aspect. So before we move into that, we're going to simply talk about what have we been gaming. Toaster, we're going to start with you, man. What have you been gaming?
Avowed all day, every day.
I'm so glad to hear that, man.
Way to go, Obsidian. I mean, you guys did really good with the Outer Worlds. But this is a lot of fun. And I think, the game itself is a lot of fun. It's just big enough to feel big, but not so big that you're just like, oh shit.
There's no way.
I do kind of wish I had a mount a little bit, because sometimes you do get a mission and you're like, you pull up the marker and it's like, that is 1,200 whatever units of measurement in this fantasy world they use. There's 1,200 potatoes away. But I think giving us Garrus in the first 10 minutes of the game goes a real long way. The first time I heard Kai open his mouth, I was like, you have to be fucking shitting me. And he's more the one, it's really weird because they're super talkative. They don't shut up. And having initially Kai and Marius together is just gold, because they're constantly nitpicking at each other, and Marius hates everybody, so he always has something smart-ass to say about wherever they are. And then there's you having to make dumbass decisions with this weird-ass voice in your head. And, like, I know the ending that I'm going to get is going to be so fucked up because I am a, like, conversation skipper person. And there have been some where I accidentally hit the skip before I read the full thing. So I could have agreed to, like, burn down a children's hospital in this game. And I will say, Inquisitor Ludwin, I am going to put my fist through her face. The first time I saw that character in the game, I was like, I'm going to punch you. Yep. You and I are not going to see eye to eye. And of course, the first mission I get to go square up to a member of the Steel Garrote is after they have, did a certain unspeakable thing. And you're asked to go retrieve an heirloom, and you get to go talk to a captain. And I called them out. It's like, yeah, I didn't realize stealing is how you had to maintain your honor. And she was like, oh, we're going to fight. And I was like, you're going to die.
So what else have you been gaming outside of Avowed? Is that pretty much just it?
Yeah, for now. I mean, I'm actually going to be getting back into WoW after the show because 11.1 dropped.
Okay.
We're going to go deal with some Gallywicks and them stinking goblins in Azeroth. But yeah, that's about it. Blasphemous. Randomly.
Blasphemous.
Yeah, the 2-bit or the like weird between 8 and 16-bit side scroller Metroidvania.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Made by Team 17 and GameKicken. And it's frustratingly good.
Are all the
good? It's
are these
so
games
good, bro.
on?
It's so good.
On Game Pass?
No, you had to buy these.
Blasphemous isn't on Game Pass.
Well, I think the first one was. It may have popped on there.
2 yet.
Yeah, the first one. I think the first one popped on there, but the second one you do have to purchase.
That game, yeah, it's really interesting, so far, and it's just enough of a pain in the ass to make me want to keep playing it because when you die, it's your own damn fault.
Oh yeah, Blasphemous.
Yeah, dude, like if you know what you're doing, like for a while I got the parry rhythm down really good, so I was just like, yep, whack, dead, whack,
yep.
Oh, I missed, ow. And then when you miss it like once, you get all sorts of thrown off. I do want to give a shout out to Becky, one of our writers. They just got Metroid Dread. And, just don't try to figure out the pattern. You're not going to be able to with the EMIs. You can't.
Don't give up.
Completely random. Like you'll get it once and you'll be like, I got it, and you don't.
Okay, Bolts.
Celeb, what did you do? You just
There's kids in here acting foolish. Bolts, what have you been gaming?
I have also dipped my wick in some Avowed. It's an insanely good game. And the pleasure of hearing Garrison's voice at the beginning was just enough to wet my whistle. Let me tell you.
Hey,
he doesn't shut up. He always has
wait. First off, you said dip your wick, and then wet your whistle. So my question is this, because there's some haters that have been on X and been on some other social media platforms that have been. There's one specific big social media name that I can't remember. I can't place right now, but I will pull up later. That stated, "Oh, and this is supposedly the Skyrim killer," but no one ever said the game was going to be a Skyrim killer. First and foremost,
no one ever said that, and it's not going to be a Skyrim killer. The Skyrim is a game in its own, just like anything else. Avowed is it's completely different than what Skyrim. To me, Skyrim is a very long-legged game, you know, and even when you start off, even though you deal with the dragon at the beginning, from that point on, I mean, you have this entire world and it feels slow paced to get going. Avowed, to me, the way it looks and the way it feels, it is a little bit more fast paced, a little bit more easier to pick up and play. Skyrim, you have to do a lot of technical stuff to get really good at it, and have a dominating character. To me, Avowed is more of a pick up, go and play and enjoy yourself, and
I mean, I'm
and,
using
and so on and so
the
forth.
axe, the
100%, bro.
the winter
100%.
axe. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I stopped using that just recently because I grabbed a certain Capitan's cutlass.
Oh, okay.
The one that was like, we're gonna fight, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that, and I switched to sword, but I'm like this weird hybrid warrior ranger build, like.
I'm the same way, dude. Same way, bro.
Point with Skyrim, like that's like this game. It's Obsidian's. If you want to say anything to Skyrim, it's Obsidian's Skyrim. Okay, It's built on their fantastical world, and to Boltz's point, like when you played Skyrim, you set out to do something, like you had a mission, and like for me, it was always getting my blacksmithing and enchanting to 100. Do you know how long that took?
Yeah, it takes forever, bro.
Here it's just like, I'm using the same axe that I found in a glaive, which that fight ticked me off. I was underleveled, and anything with a priest, you kill that priest immediately, because if not, you're not doing anything at all. And but like, I mean, Skyrim, you had to, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go spend my time the next like 3 or 4 hours doing this. About you can pick up and you can go, oh, I'm either gonna go run and explore something, or hey, maybe I'll take care of a bounty, or maybe I'll go take care of this offshoot quest. The one thing I will say, I wish they warned you about stuff.
They weren't what?
Like when there are big things that are about to happen. I don't want to spoil anything, but when a certain thing happens to a certain area, and Bolts, how far are you in the game?
I honestly, I'm about 20 hours in.
Okay, so fire. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, like that moment when you come out of the quest that leads into this particular section of the game, this is a big moment. It's a big deal. There's no warning going into the quest line that this is
no. It's like it's there.
It's like it's not. I don't. So I guess so far it's just like it's just a change in the area, but it is a big enough thing where they really should have been like, hey,
this
chapter
might be happening. Yeah, right. Like a notification that pops up. It's actually something that happens. You see that in games like even Cyberpunk, to where whenever you're going to a certain mission, you're like, hey, are you sure you want to do this
is
mission?
Your point of no return, because
but I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that y'all are liking Avowed. I haven't been able to play it yet. I've been kind of swamped down with previous reviews. I got some older reviews that were put on pause with me being sick that are coming out soon. I have been playing, of course, Monster Hunter. I've put about 45 to 50 hours into the game so far. Some of these other people that I was able to chat with that got early access to the game as well, some of these dudes have put in like 200 something hours in this game. I don't see how, but I will tell you this.
Oh, it's a gear thing, man.
Listen, it's crazy because this one, I will state, just like I said in my review, this one is it's launched as, yes, it's a continuation, but it is also launched in the aspect of like, hey, we're making this game so everybody can enjoy it and everybody can play it. And I've really, like I said, never really dived heavily into Monster Hunter before, but this game is fantastic. There's so much to do. There's so many cool different aspects of monsters and stuff that you can hunt, and I will be playing it for quite some time longer. I am prepping to play some 2K games pretty soon that I'm excited about, but also I've been playing Fortnite with the latest season that came out recently with Sub-Zero in the Battle Pass. It's just something that I have to get, and his legendary gauntlets that are in the game now are just as OP as the Typhoon Blade previously was. There's also a new bat that's in the game that is super OP. Once you charge it up, you're able to knock a player like way the F off. So it's perfect for some of those games that you only have 5 to 6 people left. Getting onto that mountain peak and being able to have that vantage point of knocking somebody down and getting a good victory royale. But like I said, I've been playing that. I've been playing college football as well. And just really kind of getting myself well to get back on here and do some content creation with my boys. But first and foremost, we're going to talk about the second opinion. Can gaming survive a digital only era? So the era of digital is creeping up upon us. And this is just a rumor that was sourced via Game Rant. But it is stated that rumors have surfaced that point to Xbox ceasing Series X sales in Brazil, compounding an existing scarcity of systems along the region. It is apparent that Xbox is focused on evolving, as executives like Phil Spencer have expressed. But we have seen this over the years, and we're going to start with U-Bolts. We've seen this before. We've seen this over and over again. We saw this when the Xbox One was coming out. There was a possibility of a full digital console. And whenever they say full digital, it's meaning stopping the sale of physical-based games. We've seen the scarcity of games in Walmarts, in big shopping centers. GameStop is switching to this stuff. Do you think that a digital-only games industry or gaming verse is something that will be okay? Is it going to make consoles? Is it going to get people to the point of moving more to PC gaming, or are we just in that point to where everything is digital now and physical is out the window?
Okay, so this is very strong. I mean, okay, regardless of what happens, it's going to be a digital world out there, no matter what. It's what it's going to. It's what's going to happen. Will this be the downfall of consoles and stuff like that? I don't think so. No, because regardless of where you're at, if you don't have a PC, then you're going to have a PlayStation or an Xbox. You're going to have to play something somewhere. And now, once again, I dive into the boonies and the sticks. Okay, you can't just have. When you say all digital, do you mean like you're gonna be able to play just on like your TV or on your computer or stuff like that?
Kind of both possibilities, because we've seen Xbox, of course, getting to the point of only doing digital sale with games, but of course Xbox has talked about moving away from consoles eventually and just being Xboxes, having it as a downloadable app.
Okay. Yeah, no, and that's perfectly fine. But once again, I step into the bigger, larger, vast world that is not your cities and your big major cities and your smaller cities and these places that have constant access to high-speed internet and fiber optic cable. And there's still people out there that live in the woods that play video games, and they don't want to spend $2,700 on a PC. They want a $500 console in order for them to play. So they can, so they can't completely neglect that. I mean, they probably will because that's the way they are. But in my eyes, they can't. It wouldn't be good. I mean, it would be good, but it wouldn't be good at the same time because you're still going to neglect a lot of your consumers that way. Because, like I said, I know people who live in the boonies that have zero internet that play PlayStation and Xbox all day long, and they do have physical copies of the games because they can't download anything, and they don't make enough money to get fucking Starlink to even have somewhat of a resemblance of some high speed internet. You know what I'm saying? So it can go to a complete digital, but I think it would be a fault.
I agree with you on that. What about you, Toaster?
It's funny because Toaster from 10 years ago took a very solid stance on this and called a certain Microsoft executive out on the carpet. Luckily, we weren't a very big podcast, so we didn't get a cease and desist letter because I said some very unkind things.
How dare you?
I know, right? Things have changed, though. Physical copies are always like, I'm really glad that I have physical copies of Mass Effect because I love that game. Games that I truly, truly love, I have, but I have started relying more just downloading stuff.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I do live next to a major metropolitan area, actually between two of them. And I'm on the same like grid as a hospital, so somehow my little town has Verizon Fios. So I am lucky enough where I have a really nice bandwidth that I can utilize. But the thing is like broadband and higher speed internet is starting to reach out into rural areas and rural communities.
Mhm.
There's not just Starlink anymore. In fact,
Very true. Very true.
We here at the Second Opinion Podcast do not approve of Starlink. So actually, we approve. Yeah, man, we approve of the technology.
We approve of the technology, but
Captain Sunglass Hut.
I saw somebody post actually replace a Tesla ad at a bus stop with "from 0 to 1939" in 3 seconds.
I saw that one going around. That was.
Did you post that, Bolts? Did you post that on Facebook?
I sure did. It's the Tesla swastika.
The swastika.
Swastika.
But back to what I was saying, like satellite internet used to suck. Like I used to have to sell that. I did direct TV sales for a little while, and like people would be like, "Can I play World of Warcraft?" No, not on Usenet. It's like a 6,000 millisecond latency. You're not, but that's gotten better, and now you actually have the advent of cell phone networks too, because like 5G LTE can handle some shit. Like that's got some throughput to it. Like, you get 300 to 500 megabits a second on that. And, it's a lot less expensive to throw up a cell phone tower in the field than it is to throw another satellite up in the sky. And with between T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and all these companies, and everybody uses everybody's towers now. So it's the internet is getting out there, and on one side of the thing, less physical copies means less plastic and shit in the environment.
Yeah, true.
Now the negative side of this is the ownership issue.
Yes. Now that's something I was
real cash money for your fake ass electronic signal for me to play.
Yeah.
A
big thing too is that we've seen
if they're gonna push this digital only thing, because Sony's already doing it. They got the PS5 without the physical disc drive.
Yeah.
The only reason I had the PS5 with the physical disc drive is because I was driving one day thinking, because I had pre-ordered the digital only one, but then I was like, wait a minute, I have a lot of physical copies, and I'm not just going to be able to, I feel like if you're going to move to a digital only thing, you need to be able to do a shared license thing. If you own a physical copy of the game, you should be able to download it for free.
Yeah, listen, we've talked about this before. I know you and me have. That's such a key factor in the digital aspect of things. If I buy a physical copy of the game, then I should be able to own a digital copy of the game. There is a lot of physical copies of games that I have that are either on PS3 or PS4 still, and I do not technically own those on my PS5. They are locked because they were originally set for my PS4, and I cannot download those games. I can't play those games without repurchasing them, and I have always thought that's total horseshit. I thought it was... Go ahead.
The thing you got to look at with digital too is it gives developers the chance to make some truly amazing things.
Yeah,
the sky's the limit. You don't have to deal with storage space. The end user's the one dealing with the storage space. Your players got to deal with, well, shit, I got to make hard drive space on my hard drive for a 500 gigabyte game. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You're just like happily going, I'm gonna make the sky shine.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing about it too, is
your 5090 will melt.
we did get to that point.
The thing that's actually happening, by the way. 5090s are melting their power cables.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's apparently a ton of voltage going across that thing.
We did get to the point of seeing that at Xbox and at PlayStation, to where, hey, especially with the PS4, hey, if you buy this version of the game, you get the same version of the game for this other console. And I know that it was a downgraded version, but the way PlayStation did it with with the PlayStation Vita. Okay, so you buy a copy of this game, and then you get the Vita version of the game for free. That was such a great system because I utilized my Vita so much. It was such an underutilized console in general. It was such a powerful handheld that really could have had some great success if they would have marketed it the right way. But with that being said, if I buy a physical copy of a game that cost almost $100 now, why do I not own the digital license to that game? I don't understand that. Or at least add it in. Say, hey, if you spend another $10, you'll get a digital copy of the game for free. I'm telling you, no ifs, ands, or buts, there will not be a single gamer that'll say, no, fuck that. That is a great digital move in the perspective of moving away from physical copy games. Toaster, you, me, and Bolts have talked about this as well, that we were hoarders whenever it came down to physical games. Because back in the day, it was like, if you bought the physical copy, you get the steelbook case, you get this, you get all this cool shit. But we've seen...
if you blew money on the collector's edition.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest here. We weren't just buying like let me get the green case, please. No, it's like, this is the Ultra Special Epic Edition.
But we also saw
a print of Commander Shepard's left ear.
We also saw companies like Amazon and GameStop get to the point of saying, hey, if you pre-order the game, you get the steelbook. Pre-order the game early, get the steelbook. So that was a really big thing. And they even came out with a lot of these sleeves that you could put up on the wall as a frame and then put the steelbooks in those sleeves.
What would make this pill easier for everybody to swallow is if they do move this digital-only model.
Yeah.
That the final patch for that game, when the team is finally like, okay, we're not like how Larry is a Baldur's Gate where they're like, no, we're not patching it. No, we're not doing anything. And all of a sudden, the modding community is like, we have made extra.
Your mic is screwing up. I don't know. Maybe it's just on my end. Bolts, did you hear that? Am I crazy?
Yeah, okay. I heard it. It was like
Is it okay now? No.
Nope.
But real quick, I agree with you guys in general. I think the main thing.
Nope.
The main thing that we have to really focus in on is that.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Kind of a little better. I don't know what's going on. Hold up. Let me turn your camera off real quick and turn it back on. Technical issues. We apologize.
No, myself.
Speak, Toaster.
Going all janky.
That's weird. It's like he's jabberwalking. Anyways, I think that we can hear you, but there's a latency in between your audio and your camera for some reason. I'm thinking at first I was like, it's got to be my internet, but it's not my internet. Anyways, but so Bolts, to get back to you on this perspective real quick.
Yeah.
Is it just because we're old? Is that what it is? I mean, is it just because we want to hold on to that?
It does have a feel to it. It's just like, I mean, go, turn around and pull out the pile of Game Informer magazines you have.
I know, right?
So it's just a way of things. And it's more or less that it's a security blanket, that we have.
How's that?
We have a physical copy.
It's better. I can hear you fully, but it does sound like you're in a tunnel.
A tunnel.
He's like, son of a bitch. I agree with you, Bolts. I think it's like it's almost like a hoarder's mindset to where you're like, this is my childhood. This is how I grew up.
It is. It's just like Toaster said, I have copies of all three Mass Effects, just in case. I have copies of, like Borderlands 2, of all of my Gears of War games. So I have physical copies of those just in case, for whatever the fuck reason, if I ever want to play them again. And I have no internet.
Yeah.
which is far fetched. Which is far fetched now. Just like Tozer said, a lot of these rural areas. I mean, hell, Spectrum is going out towards the prisons in Tennessee Colony and stuff like that now. So, and that's going to be that. And they've already laid the ground and the cables and stuff like that underground for all of that. So yeah, it's 100% getting better for some of these outreach places. So it's definitely becoming a digital world.
It is.
It's sad to say, but I still think the need of not necessarily some physical copies. I think like your main games. If say this was an all digital world, and Fable came out, you needed a physical copy for Fable, because those people that still unfortunately don't have internet can play Fable as long as they have a physical copy. So. In that retrospect, I think in some cases it is needed, but for most cases it is
I
not.
feel bad for Toaster because he's like sitting down there just waiting. He's like, how am I going to sound whenever
No, what I was going to say is...
so good. Oh my God, your voice is amazing.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
No, the point I was trying to make earlier is, like, if they do this digital only thing, then
hold up one second. What the fuck headphones do you have? Those look like the most comfortable headphones.
These are the Corsair Virtuosos.
I bet you they feel like two giant pillows on your head.
They do. Well, these are these are aftermarket ear cuffs.
God,
because the ones that came with this, like the faux leather, started flaking off, so I got these off of Amazon. They're like aftermarket, like cooling gel. Like they are very. It's
like a fucking tornado right outside. You can't even hear it. You're like,
no,
I gotta do this raid.
Like my house could be getting like robbed, and I'd be like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but back to what you're saying. I'm sorry.
So no, but they need to, like, the final patch needs to be like, and we've enabled offline mode.
Yes, I mean, man, that's such a simple fix. It's such a simple fix. They could do it from the studio.
And you're going to, like, make it to where we don't have physical copies, and we stop the freaking game requiring a server check-in.
Yes, I mean, because there's so many games, especially even with the way the PS5 is set up. There's a lot of times, like, if internet is out, or like, for instance, when the PlayStation Network issue happened recently, everybody was freaking out. Oh my God, PSN is down. I'm like, you weren't around in 2011, okay? You didn't see what the fuck happened then. It was like 3-4 months or 2 months of no PlayStation Network. It was nuts. But we had physical games, so it wasn't that big of an issue. Now with everything being digital, you have that license problem. So if you cannot have a connection to the online aspect, they won't be able to notify the system that you have a license for that game. So all the games that you go to play will pop up and say, this game must have internet connection to play. And it's such a simple thing, just like Toast. I'm sure maybe it's not the most simple thing, but if you're going to make such a drastic change in the way that the market is run and done in the games industry, then you need to make a drastic change how gamers can actually play their games. If we cannot play them in offline mode, it's kind of confusing.
It's a patch in the code.
Yes.
There's like, I mean, I'm not a coder, and I'm sure I'm like oversimplifying this horribly, but like, it's a simple, like, just stop the check-in command.
Yep. I agree. So we got some big bad,
or hard code the license key.
Hard code the license key. That is a good one. We got some really big bad news. I was originally going to make this a second opinion to talk about it, but I'm fucking pissed, bro. I'm not going to lie. I'm very upset and irritated with this news. It doesn't really make sense to me because of the terminology of what DC and Warner Brothers had said recently, but the Wonder Woman game has officially been canceled, and 3 studios are shutting down. One of the biggest studios that are being shuttered by this closure is, of course, Monolith Productions, which has made great games like Middle-earth, Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, games like Fear, Condemned, some of the greatest game series out there. And the fact that in the note it was stated like, hey, we really hate that we have to do this decision. I understand this happens. I'm not sitting here boo-hooing and whining because, oh my God, they had to run business. I understand this type of shit happens, but when you make a statement, Warner Brothers made this statement specifically stating, going forward, we will only be focusing on Harry Potter games, DC games, Mortal Kombat titles, and Game of Thrones titles. The fucking first game that you cancel is a DC game that's based around Wonder Woman that looked to be a fantastic fighting experience, something that we kind of needed a breath of fresh air in the DC game aspect, especially with Suicide Squad releasing the way that it did. I had fun playing Suicide Squad, but I also played a lot of that game in my review time offline with the AI characters. And of course, afterwards, whenever the content is launching out, I was not impressed with the content. I was pretty upset with the content. But now to see that Monolith, Player First, and WB Games in San Diego are being shuttered and shut down, it is an irritating thing. And of course, then around the same time, we'll get the news that James Gunn's DCU is a couple of years away with doing tie-in aspects of the DCU to the games. So depending on what movies come out, there will be games that tie into the movies, and that's a great strategy to have. But I am still confused about this decision. So, right. Toaster.
To be fair,
that trailer that was shown at the Game Awards for Wonder Woman was a 40-second trailer.
It was.
That didn't show anything.
I know.
It showed a CGI generated, probably running on a 4090 image of Wonder Woman. And that's all there has been in regards to that game. Like, that's the only... There's been no updates from Monolith. Like, I mean... so to get, I don't know.
I'm irritated. Listen, it's not just about the aspect
I think your
of the
irritation is
down.
higher than Wonder Woman. I think your irritation, if we can go and let me get my notepad.
Fuck you.
It's Wonder Woman. It's Wonder Woman and it's a DC game.
I think your irritation is stemming from the fact that, once again, the people that wear suits at Warner Brothers have no idea what they're doing.
That's the big thing. It's
just
not
like
just about the
I don't understand why somebody at Rocksteady, when Warner Brothers was like, we want you to make a live service Suicide Squad game, why somebody at Rocksteady didn't stand up and go, but that's not what we do.
Yes, but that's my thing, Toaster. No. Look, that's my thing. Is that Warner Brothers was okay with launching something like that, but then works on a Wonder Woman game with Monolith, which is a great studio. That's my biggest thing. This is not some fuck up studio that's got some dumbass children running the fucking shit. Monolith has been known for making great games, series.
Right. They have been known for making great games.
Yes. So what's the big game that they get pushed to the point of making? They say, hey, we're gonna get you guys to work on a Wonder Woman game. So not only did they kill the game, they shut down the studio, and all the people at the studio lose their job. This is the second or third time in the last 3 years that we've seen these fucking massive ass studios that are known for making great games get shut down before even getting a chance to showcase what they can do.
And the point that I'm trying to make is that this is the MO at Warner Brothers.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's like, this is what they do. Like, yes. I mean,
so I have a question with Monolith. As much as the first Condemned was as amazing as it was, the first Fear was as amazing as it was. The Shadow of War series, what have they done lately?
What have you done for me lately?
I'm about to bring it up.
I mean, seriously. I'm just saying, seriously. Monolith is a great company, and yes, I hate for it to be shut down. But
I wanted to say that, but I felt like a dick saying that. So.
Well, and as much as we want to sit here and say it, it's the truth, and that goes with any company. Hell, that even goes with Microsoft. Microsoft, what have you done lately? I mean, honestly, it's it's one of those things that this. I mean, you've got to boom, 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 and and here coming out this year, we have some bangers coming out, and Monolith. What have you done lately? I mean, it's the truth, and
Last
yes,
game,
they had a chance to work.
the last
Go
game
ahead.
that they did was Middle Earth: Shadow of War, which launched in 2007. Okay, so think about that. If they're wanting to do a big game, how many times have we said, don't rush these games? These games get worked on for anywhere between 5 to 6 years, right? Okay, so
It was fucking 18 years
it's
ago.
not 2017? I said 2007, didn't
You
I?
said
Okay, I'm
2007.
Sorry, fuck. 2017.
But see,
Okay,
the thing is-
2017 is when Shadow of War came out.
thing
And yes,
is,
Shadow
it
of
is-
War was not as good as
But-
Shadow of Mordor, but it
To-
still had great sales.
To Boltz's point, though, like, yes, we understand the game process takes years to make something good. And that's when you have
Mhm.
a studio being directed by people that know what the hell they're doing.
Yes,
You know,
I
you look
agree.
at CD Projekt Red, you look at Larian, you look at, BioWare back in the day, you know,
Rockstar.
Rockstar, but they have a vision, and those games get made. You look at, like, studios now are scared because, they're a podcast like us out there that, I mean,
Keep going. Kids are knocking on the door. My bad.
okay. We try to be nice about games. I understand that blood, sweat, and tears go into the manufacturing these things, and this is people's art. This is, they pour their passion into this. But sometimes there are games that suck.
100%.
You can't. And we all have the ones that we pick on, but like, if you're a team like Anthem, was the point I was trying to make, like me and BioWare and Anthem, or the joke I made back in the day when Caleb was going to places with me and he was like, you can't ask Gearbox about Sega's money. Did I say that out loud?
You and fucking Bolts. I swear to God. I literally have to say, don't, like, I swear to God. Do not ask them about this. I remember I was like, don't ask them, Toaster. And then we're sitting at fucking E3 and I look at Bolts. I'm like, you better not fucking say a thing about 76. I swear to God. But what I'm getting at is, yes, I understand you guys. I understand what you're saying. I understand the business decision. I understand what you're coming across.
Bethesda.
What I'm getting at, okay, is I feel personally, this is my opinion. Yes, of course. Okay. The latest games that Monolith has truly come out with, okay, is Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. Cool. We don't know every aspect about behind the scenes. We don't.
100%.
But
100%.
I look at it in the sense of why was this, why even announce the fucking game? If you had a big possibility or we don't know, it's kind of shaky. We don't know what's going on. And we know this because we've been doing this shit in the games industry for so long. These games are not just off the whim. Hey, we're going to release a trailer, and this trailer, once it's released, that's the only information we have. There was obviously more than just the trailer. There was obviously a full probably line of shit that was already made for the game, and they could have been working on it at least the last 4 or 5 years. But to spend that money, that's where I agree with you, Toaster.
Hear you, and I offer you level 1313.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I titled the show, What Even Is the Fucking Games Industry? What even is it? What is our industry now? You don't see this type of shudder in the movie industry. That's what fucking pisses me off the most. The games industry makes 10 times the money that the movie industry does. Okay, 10 times.
It's because it goes back to what we've said in the past. Everybody's chasing that GTA high.
Yes.
Like everybody expect. I mean, and we've done the math. We've broken it down. Like Dead Space, the remake. It was something a return of like $120 million in return on profit. Like it goes back to what all three of us said. People, they have these unrealistic expectations on what a game, like gaming is for everyone.
Yes.
But not every game is for everyone.
No.
You're not going to get there like WoW has something like 14.2 million players or something ridiculous like that. That's a pretty big player base, but not everybody plays WoW. GTA probably has a bigger player base because it's GTA. Like that crosses, like everybody has the gangster fantasy or the cop fantasy or whatever you want to play in that. Those are nat 20s in the gaming world, we'll call them.
God, look at this trailer. Fuck.
What is this?
Condemned.
That's fear. Oh, Condemned. You're right. I'm sorry.
These massive mega hits. They're it's you rolled a nat 20. Good for you. But the market is out there for single player games. If you lower your expectations, Jedi Survivor probably didn't make millions upon millions upon millions upon millions and millions of dollars. You know what? It's a good fucking game, and it has a very large single player fan base that probably still made you a cool few mil in return. I mean, you EA did that where they gave us a sequel and we're getting a third.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and to go back, and this is going to be my knock on DC games. I mean, listen, if I'm WB, I'm just like, DC movies suck, DC games suck. Why the fuck do I want to put my money and the time and effort into this?
Think about the DC games that have come out over the last few years, okay? Over the last 10 years. What is the one DC game that has actually been a success? A real success. The Batman Arkham series. That's
the
it.
Arkham series.
That's it. And yeah, bro, it was fucking amazing. It was amazing. Do I want a Flash game? No. Do I want a fucking Green Lantern game? No. I don't want that. I mean, in all honesty, I was excited about the Wonder Woman game because what the developers had said, even in post-reveal interviews of talking about what their plans were with this game when it came out, how they planned on. I mean, I just think Wonder Woman is a great character in DC. So if you're going to have a mega game for a DC game, then have it around Superman, have it around Batman, have it around Wonder Woman. Don't break off on all this other shit. I don't want to see all the other shit.
I think the smartest thing that they could do right now is, and honestly, the one point in that article I agree with, let Gunn's universe happen. I think for right now, the best thing that I think what they should have done, instead of canceling studios and coming out and be like, we're canceling, wait. See how Superman performs in the theaters.
Yes.
Because I am willing to say, I bet you that Superman movie, if Gunn can keep that momentum, I bet you that is the DCU's Iron Man.
Listen, I
got goosebumps watching that trailer.
I am very
hopeful. For the first time in my life, I saw a Superman trailer and I felt hope.
Yes. I am very hopeful. And it's just like our reactions that we had whenever we watched it on that podcast together. I had goosebumps the whole time we were talking about it because of the way the trailer was, the music, the connection to the classic. It could be James Gunn being over DC could be the best thing that's ever happened.
Or it could be the worst thing in the world.
Exactly.
But, the thing is in order, they need to let that universe happen. And, if it blows up, then by all means, make video games. So put the right studios in charge of making those games and don't ask them to do something they're not familiar with or nobody wants. Nobody wanted a live service game from Rocksteady. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Sure, nobody at Rocksteady wanted to make that game.
Yep.
But I don't know.
I agree.
I just sorry.
Speaking of no, I'm sorry for. I know I got a little heated and irritated, but it's just I'm just tired of seeing studios get shut down with just no fucking reason. And they're like, man, we're so sad. We're so sad to see, a great studio like Monolith that has such a fantastic history get shut down. And then not even a studio, a media company like Game Informer that is being run by this massive fucking company, GameStop. We're really sorry to say this, after 30 years of Game Informer, sharing great articles and great insight on the games industry, we're shutting them down. It's a constant fucking thing in the games industry. It's so irritating. It is so irritating to see every single year that the games industry revenue completely goes up.
I'm not defending GameStop in any way.
No, I know.
Their revenue was like they had to.
But they still but they didn't have to. When you look into the details of it, Game Informer was not pulling any money anyways. They were just an asset for them.
Well, no,
and what they were doing was
with
making
all those changes they've made, they're still losing money. They're still they're not doing well.
But you know why? It's just like what you said.
Give you $2 for trade-in.
They have a new CEO that started fucking shit up. Their new line of sight in gaming in general. Speaking from me and Bolts working there for 10 years, they went to shit whenever they started fucking focusing in on collectibles and card-based shit and whatever, turning it away from a game store.
Okay, so yes, I think that the collectible, they're doing the collectibles the wrong way.
Yes.
Because collectibles are huge. They have. I think, me personally, if they were smart, they would really dump a lot of money into Funko Pops. Yes. I don't care what anybody says. We used to have Madden tournaments, Call of Duty tournaments, Gears of War tournaments. We used to have Halo tournaments. We used to have all these tournaments, Smash Brothers Brawl tournaments. We used to, Mario Kart. We used to do all that. You want to turn GameStop into a successful business, you turn it into a game, regardless of what it is. You rebuild your brand. You make bigger stores. You have Warhammer tournaments. You have fucking Pokemon tournaments.
Yes, honestly, no, that's the truth. Because I'm going to tell you, Bolts can admit to this. In rural areas is where GameStop really makes their money. The reason why the Palestine store was such a success is because we were the only store in the entire area for almost an hour to 2 hours. So we had everyone from this area in East Texas coming to the Palestine store because we were getting out, telling people about this stuff. We had massive reservations. We had massive people coming up to get the games. But like I said, the corporate side of things changed that company. And that's what we're starting to see with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has slowly but surely turned away from what they knew for the longest time. That was making great experiences, making great games. And we've seen them over time really kind of drop. And it sucks. It sucks so bad because I love Warner Brothers. I love Mortal Kombat. I love DC. I love the games that they produce. I love the people that work there. I know many of the people that work at Warner Brothers. I just don't truly understand the reasoning. And I wish, honestly, Toaster said it kind of perfectly. He said it in the best way possible. Why not wait? Why not wait until James Gunn DCU actually comes out and you see the massive peak? Guess what? When people watch Superman and it has all these people going to see it and the rave reviews are coming out, they're saying, oh man, it's one of the greatest DC movies I've ever seen in my life, blah, blah, blah. That piques people's interest to check out other DC IPs or other DC shows. So why cancel this prematurely? Why shutter a studio that had great, and I'm hoping the best for the people that lost their job. I really am. Because I'm sure there was some great talent that have been working at Monolith for as long as they have and never thought something like this could happen. But I speak like this about it because I know some people that have worked at Monolith before, and I know people that work at WB, and they're such passionate people about the IPs that WB owns and runs. So it does irritate me very much that these decisions are made, and kind of what Toaster said, when suits make these decisions, it seems like the games industry is all run by black suit and tie now. It's not about the games. It's not about the gamers. It's about how much money we're making. Because they all want the GTA effect. They all want to make billions. Moving on from that.
And the sad part about that is they're not a GTA company. There's very few people out there like Rockstar who can produce every fucking 20 years a gem that just lights up everything.
And I mean, the CEO of Rockstar is kind of laughing when he's saying this type of stuff, but he really does. He knows there's such a hype for Grand Theft Auto in general. They could literally come out tomorrow and say, well, the base game that does come with all this other stuff, it's going to be $89.99 or $99.99. And do you think that is going to keep people from buying that game? No. It is so much hype around that game. They could put $100 price mark on it, be the first game that has a base version, and sell it for $100. And man, I'm gonna tell you, you'd still see scalpers out there selling that bitch for $300.
You would. Hey, and a funny side note while we're getting off this subject, our biggest reservation for a midnight launch that we had at GameStop was Wrath of the Lich King. We have 286 reserved copies. 286 reserved copies, and for us around here in a super rural area, that's a huge amount.
There were so many people there at that store that night too, bro. Holy shit, I remember that. Man. God, it was
all to get home and spend probably 45 minutes installing it off a disc.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Well, speaking of classic games, it has been officially leaked ahead of its official announcement that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 is officially coming. So with that being said, they recently somewhat hinted that 3 and 4 was being remastered by doing an update in Call of Duty. But it says the Singapore rating system has accidentally leaked this announcement. And there is a possibility, it says the official Pro Skater website is also teasing an announcement on March 4th. So this is a for sure thing.
This personally also coincidentally correlates to Tony Hawk's increased presence on social media. Because this is the same thing happened when they released the original remaster.
True, yeah.
Like he's suddenly like Tony Hawk on like Twitter and everything. Like suddenly, like you couldn't get away from Tony Hawk. Like he was everywhere, and it's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remastered. But
now, mind you, I did get a chance to review this game, and I fucking loved it. It felt so classic, 100% fantastic game.
I can't remember the motion. I can't remember the freaking hand motions.
Oh man, it's like
still
there. I promise you.
My thing is my hands are locked in SSX mode.
Oh man, listen. That was Ubisoft, wasn't it?
No, EA Big.
EA Big. Bring it back, EA.
Oh, I love that game. And we won't really talk about who because of the things that he got arrested for. But he would not play me in that game.
I wonder why.
Like Billy Nichols and a few other people tried to set up a match between me and him, and he accused me of cheating and using cheat codes. I was like, wait, what? There's no cheat codes in the game.
The person that got arrested is a POS, so to say the least. But either way, that's big news. Bolts, what do you think? Are you still a Tony Hawk fan? I'm just a classic Tony Hawk fan. Let's say that. That's the reason why I'm excited.
Yeah, I played some Tony Hawk back in the day. Of course, my favorite one is Underground, the first one. But it's.
I said, man, Underground was something special.
Yeah. But at this point, it's. I know everybody likes the classics, but and I don't know how much more you can reinvent the skateboard game, but maybe something new rather than a remake. I don't know.
Maybe that's the reason why they're doing this is because what took down Tony Hawk. Okay, what took down Tony Hawk? Skate took down Tony Hawk, bro. Plain and simple. When Skate released, it was such a new experience because everybody was so used to just button mashing. And it actually felt like, oh shit, this actually feels like a legit skating experience. But now EA's Skate is kind of in the preliminary development stage, and it's more in the sense of, hey, we have Skate, it's in really early access, and we want you to help us build it so we can turn it into a perfect game. That's cool and all, but Activision is taking advantage of that and saying, hey, we could release this game and people would buy it. $59 for 2 games.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no. All more power to those who want to play it. Absolutely. Go out and enjoy your classic Tony Hawk. It's a great game.
Shut your mouth, Bulls. Toaster, you got anything to say about Tony Hawk outside of what you already said?
I liked it. It's fun. I can't wait.
I'll tell you one thing that Toaster's not happy about. The new Fable. Fable 4 has been hit with a very big release date delay.
Delay it and make it great. It better be great when it comes out. That's all we got to say about that.
It better be perfect. So the window has been moved from 2025 to 2026. We don't know if it's going to be in the first quarter of 2026 or what. But some people online were, I wouldn't say mad, but just upset, because I think we're all excited to see what this game will feature. Toaster, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Like, what have you
100%.
What have you heard about Fable other than
Nothing.
the trailer?
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah, like, so I mean, yeah, it better be good. Like, just right, like, we're not mad, but it better
be fucking good.
Yeah,
it better come out swinging for the damn
it better
heads.
be polished.
Yeah. And they've since on social media.
I better feel like Richard Ayoade is actually sitting next to me talking and not being watched on the television.
There's a few. I think 30 to 40 seconds worth of pre-alpha gameplay that has been posted up on social media, showcasing what the game is looking like now, and that's awesome. It does look really good.
It does, just enough to get me hard. I tell you what.
I am very excited for what this. Oh my God. I am very excited for what this game will feature and showcase when it comes down to the aspects of Playground making an action adventure game. But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait just a tad bit longer to see what this game will really be like. And our last topic of the night, the Bloober team is making a new game based on Konami's IP after the success of Silent Hill 2. So Toaster, what is another great IP that Konami owns that you would like to see brought to life?
Castlevania.
My God. Bring it out, Konami. Okay?
Or
I
at
don't
least give
even
me Symphony of the Night on the Switch. God damn it.
Listen, if it's Symphony of the Night, of course the internet will break. But I can see them.
Don't remake Symphony of the Night. Leave it alone. It's
What would you think? What would you think about them doing a from the ground up remaster? Because it wouldn't really take a lot, but Lords of the Shadows.
Which one was that?
What? Am I wrong? Am I saying it wrong?
No. Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You're throwing me off. Lords of the Shadows. Not Lords of the Shadows 2, because Lords of the Shadow 2 was not the best. It was very weird. But or
just
just
like that. Like, no, if you're gonna do Castlevania, I don't know. Like, at this point, you have to reboot it, because Lords of Shadow, messed up that story. Like,
yeah, it left a bad taste in your mouth.
Because
the
it was
Belmonts have
fun.
been basically fighting themselves, because Gabriel becomes Dracula.
Yeah. It was fun,
like,
and it was different. Now, mind you, too, Lords of the Shadows was also co-produced by Hideo Kojima.
And they had
Kojima
some,
Productions.
like, Patrick Stewart and freaking what's his face from Stargate SGU.
Yeah.
you know, like it just messed up the storyline so much.
It did. It was very weird, but I do agree with what you said. That I mean, why not
Or
just
like
do a
if
soft
if
reboot? Why not do a soft reboot?
or just go back to the mainstays of like Trevor, Simon, or or Richter.
How fucking cool would that be to have a big ass show and then the Bloober team logo pops up and then you kind of see some ground shaking and shit like that, and it pops up and it's the castle. It zooms out, Castlevania remake, or Castlevania retold or something, fuck. How great would that be? And what's the one studio? I'm going to say this too, because of course I told about him too much.
Or just remake Simon's Quest.
Yeah. You're just obsessed with Simon's Quest. But I will say one studio that has done a great retelling or re-release, remaster, restart is id Software. id Software relaunched Doom with Doom 2016, and Doom Eternal was a great success. And now doing a prequel, Doom The Dark Ages, that even looks consistently better each time they're going. And to find out too, in my preview, which you can check out at Cinelinks.com, we got to sit down and talk to Hugo Martin and Marty Stratton about what this game has to do, or what this game is really all about. Doom 2016 was a introduction. Doom Eternal was more fast-paced, kind of jumping around. You can't always be right there in front of but Doom The Dark Ages now is going to be, I'm a fucking tank and I'm going to destroy your face with my gun and chainsaw. It's going to be the Doom Slayer that made his name. So, and that's all new shit that they decided to interconnect with an already vast history that id Software had with Doom. So Konami has such a vast history with Castlevania, such a great cast of characters that they can play off of. We could really see something great if they were to do a remake or re-release or retelling of Castlevania.
So if they would redo a Castlevania, would you want it a 3D side scroller, or would you want it a free roam?
And that's a hard decision. That's a hard thing to really state. It would be a great thing to have a Konami game like Castlevania, of course, to have the 2D, 3D side-scrolling aspect. But I feel like it would be something really great to see, to have even the gameplay aspect that we're seeing them with Metal Gear Solid 3. So Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta,
right? I was gonna say maybe
a whole new style of play.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe more of a gameplay style like God of War and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also you could even do some kind of classic shouts to games of old, like you go to a certain area and then the camera changes and it's like 2D side scrolling, or some shit like that. I don't know. That's just, but
tried that with Zelda 2 and it did not go well.
Hey, well, it worked well with Mario, okay? No. Anyways, but yeah, passion is back. Gaming is somewhat back if people could stop closing studios. And the Second Opinion podcast is back. And this is our 377th episode. My voice is back, so hopefully we'll be back next week. Now, I will state this. I can say this on the podcast because the children are not around. The weekend of March 7th.
Not real.
Don't you say that out loud, you son of a bitch. Dante's birthday is on the 7th. We're doing his birthday on the 7th. And then on the 8th and the 9th, we will be in Dallas at the Gaylord Texan. We're taking Dante and the kids up there for a surprise trip. And my Uncle Chris is surprising them by coming in town. We're going up there, taking Dante and them to Legoland and the Rainforest Cafe and all kinds of really cool shit. So I'm very excited about that. So we may not do a podcast that weekend, which is, God, what is today? Today's a fucking Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Fuck. I got thrown off. I was looking at Sunday. I'm like, it's the 23rd. But we will be back, and we will not be taking hiatuses unless something crazy happens. Do send vibes to my dad, even though I do not agree with him 100% politically. He is having some pretty serious surgeries on the 18th of March. So if you could just send him some good energy, keep him in your thoughts, I would highly appreciate it. But we're back. And I love you guys. The Bald Brigade is here to stay. Bald Bearded Brigade.
Listen, that sounds like a porno from the 80s, bro.
The Triple Bs.
Oh, God.
The BBBLs.
Toaster walks in. Caleb
like,
comes
hey.
in for the second.
No, Toaster walks in. He's like, hey, I'm the IT guy. I'm here to check your computer history.
And on that note,
like,
this has been episode 300 and I don't know what of the second podcast.
Caleb walks in. I've got your lumber, and I bring in your package. So this is what we do.
Right? I love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good night,